Happy Crafters, how are you all? Thank you for joining me, Toni live in my studio here in Wakefield. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I love to do anything crafty, whether that be using stamps, inks, dyes, anything. I just love it. It takes my mind off things and it makes me smile. So I'm hoping that whatever you do at home, it makes others smile, including yourself. So in today's live studio, we're going to be using some of our earlier stamps. But just before we get into it, make sure you click the subscribe button over on our YouTube channel. This is important. This helps other people if they've lost their mojo, and it also inspires other people too. And if you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to pop a comment below, because that puts you in with a chance to win one of our studio makes. So today's studio is going to be a little bit inky, a little bit of technique based. And we're going to be here for about half an hour, so grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back and just enjoy. So the first thing I'm going to show you first is the stamp that I'm going to be using, and it's this lovely one here, and it's the beautiful blossom one. Now we launched this, I would say, at least a couple of years ago now, so I know a lot of you have already got this one, but we took it to TV a couple of months ago, and again it sold through, so I want to inspire people to maybe get it out of the packet if they haven't done that already. So the inks we're going to be using also, we're going to be using our Gossip ink in bottles and maybe our colour essence, but we'll see. Please don't switch off if you haven't got any of the products. You might have something in your stash that will work and create just a beautiful card just using somebody else's products. However, if you do like the products that are in the show, you just pop onto the website and pop FBL into the search engine, and all the products that have been used today and over the course of the last few shows will be on there. So our shows are every Monday and every Wednesday. We did trial at a time of 11 o'clock, and obviously today we are on at 4 o'clock. We're still trialing the times to see which works for everybody. I am never going to please everybody with regards to times, so we're just going to do a little bit of trialing with times and days and things until we get it absolutely nailed as to what works for us and what works for you at home. So just try and be patient on that one. So I'm going to show you first how to create an inky background and incorporate this stamp, but not in the traditional manner, should we say. So first off, I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock here, and I'm just going to grab my Eureka. So first of all, I'm just going to get the larger piece of white cardstock that I've got just set aside. I'm just going to stamp the stamped floral element of the stamp set. And I am going to use, because I'm going to be watercolouring, I am going to use a VersaFine. So I'm just going to ink this one up and stamp this one out. And then we'll just set it aside to dry. We will come back to it. So stamp this one out. And just missed a centre there, so I'm just going to re-ink and reapply. There we have a lovely image. I'm just going to set this one aside to dry. Just move it out of the way. So what I'm going to do now is I have a piece of white cardstock here, and I have a bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let's just pop the lid on, make sure it's on properly before I show you, number 6 from the Generation Ink in bottles. I'm going to give them a shake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this packaging to create a bit of a background. So all I'm going to do is just take some of this inker out of here. So I'm just going to tip my brush in there and put some of the ink straight onto this clear cello bag. So you can see all the beautiful sparkle in there. I'm going to put quite a bit on there. If you haven't gathered, I like number 6. Look at that, the bottle's nearly empty. But I have been using these for a while now. So just pop plenty of ink on there. Now you could do a colour mix if you wanted to. You don't have to stick with one colour, but this pink one is what's going to work with my theme. So just put the lid back on there tight. So before I go ahead and hopefully let's just have a look. I'm already getting inky. I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of water and just dilute it back a little bit. sign of a good crafter, hey, inky fingers. So this is going to be a focal point on my card. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip the ink onto the bag and just let the ink make a nice pretty pattern. Just give the card opportunity to drink that ink, and then when you take it off, get like this lovely mockledy pattern. So the first one I've done has been diluted back quite a lot. So what I'm going to do before I go any further, because I do want texture in there, I'm going to dry this off. So this will be like a base colour. Now obviously the more water you add, the smoother image you get. So if you don't add as much water, you will get texture, and that is actually what I was aiming for. But obviously I've added a little bit too much water, but it's nothing lost, because I'm just going to dip it back in and create some texture. I don't know if you can see that shimmer on there, it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to dip it back into this ink, press it around again, and maybe get the second layer. There we go, look, we're getting texture now. I'm just going to dry this off. I'm going to let it drip down so I do get texture. So I don't want the whole piece of card to be covered. I do want white spaces on there. I love white spaces, as you all know. Just put my gun underneath. Getting that lovely sparkle come through there. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. There you go, look. So because I've still got ink on here, I am going to just go for it again and pick up the rest of this ink. Not to waste any, really. There we go. So I always do it on a cello bag. I find it easier, and they can pop the cello bag in the bin. I haven't got to worry about cleaning a station. Pick all that lovely ink up. I've got lots of texture on there now, and that's what I was aiming for originally. So just be mindful when you use your water, how much water you use. Make sure this is absolutely dry, and then we don't have any fingerprints or mess. Now, because the theme I'm going for is pink and yellow, I am going to add a touch of yellow in there as well. So I'm just going to clean this. I'm just going to pop some yellow on here, but I'm not wanting the sparkle from the yellow. I'm just wanting clean, clear colour, so I'm not going to give it a shake. So I'll just get my brush. I'm just going to pop a little bit on here, not too much. Just to give my card a little bit of contrast. So make sure you dry between each stage, and then that way you won't get the contamination. Spray. Just going to do it twice this time, not too much. So this time I'm just going to pop this on. You see there how gorgeous is that? I'm just going to make sure I pick up all this lovely ink. Oh. How cool is that? So just have fun with it. Don't put yourself under any pressure. It's not fun when you do that to yourself. So I'll just dry this one off. And then I will set this one aside, and we'll move on to our actual image. So a little technique then is, while that's still quite hot, I'm just going to pop it under my mat, and then it'll dry a little bit flatter. So it's under my mat while it's a little bit hot, and then it's not as hard to glue down. So let's get to our main image then. So this is the one that we just stamped, so I know that this is now dry. So to colour this one in, I'm just going to use my colour essence, and I'm going to use the yellow and a pink. So I'm not going to spend lots of time, but I'm just going to show you how to get a pink and yellow blend on there. So just swap my brush out for a smaller brush. Get rid of the big one. So I've just got clean water. I'm just going to pick up some of this lovely pink here. This is the one that we used in last studio. I'm just going to drop some of the colour in there. Now you could do your wet in wet, what you've all been doing over the course of the last week or so. And I'm just taking the pink from the centre where it will be darker, and then I'm picking up some of the yellow, and I'm just dropping it around the edge. I'm just letting it do what it wants to do then. So what will happen then is you get this lovely orange tone. You see that there? So just go back in again. So pink in the centre where it's darker, not right to the end. Then pick up some of the yellow. Make sure you've not got a lot of water in your brush. And then pop it in at the end, and you get this beautiful like orange springtime colours. See that there? There we go. So I would do that all over, but I have done one ahead of time. So just set that aside to dry. So here is one I did ahead of time. See there? So all I'm going to do, instead of having a sterile image just sat on a card, I'm going to cut around this, but I'm going to get rid of the stem on there because it's going to act as a focal point on my card. So rather than it have a stem and just be stamped into the centre of the card, just for a little bit of change, I'm just going to use it as an embellishment rather than a focal point. So I'm not being over careful with it. I do like white spaces, so I'm not overly concerned if I've got a little bit of white showing. But you at home, if you do this card, you can obviously take a little bit more time to do it. So I'm just quickly going around. Looks like I've missed one of the leaves on there. So before I came to air, I've already fussy cut one and painted another one, so I have done two for my card. But if you're at home and you do like this technique, then you can obviously stamp out a few if you want to, and colour a few and cut a few. So rather than make the one card, let's make three, because if we've got all our stash out, the worst thing in the world, if you're anything like me, is spend half your time getting your stuff together, wondering what's going to work together and what's not. By the time you finish, you've done one card and it's 8 hours later, and when you look up it's dark. So if you make one card, make three, just maybe change the colour. So all the way around. So what I'm doing is I'm not actually moving my scissors, I'm moving my cardstock around. I just find this the easiest way. I'm not a professional fussy cutter. I'm not actually a fan of fussy cutting, but I think this technique lends itself really well to chop and changing it from a sterile stamped image. So there I have like this beautiful blossom. So like I said, I have done two. I'll just get the other one I've done, which is this one. So I've got two here. I have left this little stamen on here. I'm going to just take that off. That's just the leg. So we've got two pieces here. So this is going to be the focal point. So I have a top folding note card, which I've trimmed the base off here because I want the bottom of the card to be glittery. So I've cut to size a piece of our Rubelite glitter card. This is the heavier weight because it's going to act as my card. And I'm just going to pop some glue underneath here. And this is going to stick straight onto this glitter card. Put quite a bit of glue on there. I do like things to stay put. And I find the easiest way to get it to line up is I sit it on the base of the card, I line it up with all the lines, and when I'm absolutely happy, then I close, she says, without moving. I close the top down and press it in place. Just give that a second to adhere to the glitter card. So I'll just set that aside, I'll just pop that on top and hopefully it'll hold. Then I'm just going to get my inked part from underneath, which you saw me do earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to the front of the card, covering the white space. Before I do that, let's move this out of the way, give that an opportunity to dry. So let's get our Eureka back out. So within this stamp set, you do get some beautiful sentiments. I'll just remove this one from the carrier sheet. And I'm going to use the one that's actually within the set. And this one says there's always something to be thankful for, which there is. So which way are we going to go? I think we'll go, I like the white at the top, so we'll go with this way. I'm just going to offset it slightly. And I'm just going to stamp this one in black, and this will be a pretty feature in black. I'll just do that one more time. There, it's nice true black now. I'm just going to dry that one off so I don't get any fingerprints. And then let's get this lovely card constructed. So please don't forget to pop a comment below, because that puts you in with a chance to win one of the lovely makes in studio. Just make sure this is actually stuck nice. And see, and then this will go on here. Can you see there? So it's all coming together. So I'll just pop some, I'll just see if my tape pen will work. So I am going to pop tape pen on as well. And I am going to glue as well. Oops. I'm just going to make sure this is going to sit flush on the top of here like so, and straight. And when you're happy it's in place, then you can push down. So, and then I always turn it over, and with some clean tissue, give it a push down, help it stick in place. If you haven't gathered, I am the world's worst for fingerprints, so I'm sure a lot of you are the same as me at home. So then we have our lovely embellishments here. This is quite a cheerful card, isn't it? Mind you, the sun is out, so why not? So I'm just going to pop one pad in the centre there. I'm going to stick this one down first. So I always like to arrange first, see where it's going to go. And this is going to hide the connecting line onto my glitter card. So let's go there. Now you could leave the overhang, it looks really cool and it makes your card unique. So the best glue that I use is either Perfect Together, which is ours, but unfortunately that's out of stock, or you can use your Floral, which is quite effective as well. So it's down to preference really. I would just say try and see what works for you at home. So you can see here we've got these overhangs. Now I'm not overly concerned about this one, I think that looks quite quirky, but these two definitely have to go. So I'm just going to take my scissors and trim down the side. So you can see there, but I will trim the other side as well. It's not very pleasing on the eye. And then just to finish this lovely card, make sure it's all stuck down lovely, I'm just going to embellish it slightly. So I have some gems here, I have some pink diamantes, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them around the floral element. I'm not going to encroach into this area because this has already got a lot going on, so we really need to stay away from that area if we can. I've got some pearls and pink gems on there, so I'm just going to pop a few round. Not too many though, we don't want a cake. And I think we'll leave that be there. So let me just move everything out of the way. So this is today's card. I hope you like it. It's something a little bit different. It stands up as well. So you've got the glitter element at the bottom, the ink element at the top, and then your fussy cutting blossom stamp out of the bottom there. So I hope you've enjoyed today's demo. I'm sorry it cannot be longer than normal. I'm a mum and it's parents' evening this afternoon, so we've got to get gone for that. But thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back with you on Monday at 11 or 4, but stay tuned because we will update you always with dates and times. Take care everybody. Bye.